Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these Jefferson nickel 5-cent coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Today we are diving into a fascinating piece of American pocket history that many people have held, spent, and forgotten, yet collectors around the world still search for with passion. The United States of America rare Jefferson nickel from 1964, the 5-cent coin that marks the end of an era and the beginning of legendary collecting stories. This is not just another old nickel. This coin carries history, mystery, and the possibility of real value hidden in plain sight. Imagine holding a small 5-cent coin that once passed through grocery stores, gas stations, and vending machines during a time when America was changing fast. 1964 was the final year before the United States Mint removed silver from circulating nickels, cousins like dimes and quarters, and although the Jefferson nickel itself does not contain silver, this year became incredibly important to collectors. Demand for coins exploded, people started saving them in huge numbers, and the mint produced massive quantities. Yet inside this flood of coins, rare varieties and mint errors were born. The obverse of the 1964 Jefferson nickel features Thomas Jefferson, a symbol of American independence and vision. But collectors look far beyond the portrait. They carefully examine the date, the lettering, and Jefferson's iron cheek for subtle doubling and unusual details. Some 1964 nickels show doubled die errors, where letters and numbers appear slightly doubled due to a misaligned die during striking. These errors are often missed by casual collectors but can instantly turn an ordinary coin into a prized find. Flip the coin over and Monticello stands proudly on the reverse. This is where many secrets hide. Steps leading up to Monticello are extremely important. Coins with sharply defined, fully separated steps are known as full-step nickels. Finding a 1964 nickel with full steps is very difficult because the dies wore down quickly during mass production. Strong strikes with clear steps are rare and highly desirable, especially in high-grade condition. Then there are mint errors that make collectors' hearts race. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets where a piece of metal is missing, and die cracks that leave raised lines across the coin all add character and value. Some 1964 nickels were struck on improper planchets, creating wrong metal errors that stand out in weight and color. These mistakes were never meant to leave the mint, yet somehow they did, creating instant rarities. Condition is everything. Most 1964 nickels were heavily used, meaning coins in brilliant uncirculated condition are far scarcer than people realize. A coin with original luster, no major marks, and strong detail can be dramatically more valuable than a worn example. Collectors often send their best coins to professional grading services, where a high grade can elevate a simple 5-cent coin into a serious collectible. What makes this coin especially exciting is that it can still be found today. Old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten rolls sometimes reveal gems. That thrill of discovery is what keeps collectors searching. Every 1964 Jefferson nickel deserves a second look, because rarity often hides in the smallest details. Now let us talk about value, the part everyone waits for. In real market conditions, an average circulated 1964 Jefferson nickel is usually worth only a small premium over face value, often just a few cents more. However, uncirculated examples with strong eye appeal can be worth several dollars in today's market. High-grade full-step examples have sold for dozens of dollars, and in top-certified condition, some have reached values in the hundreds. Rare mint errors and major double-die varieties have achieved auction prices ranging from tens to hundreds of dollars, and exceptional error pieces have crossed into the four-figure range in major auctions, all values depending on condition, rarity, and collector demand. Coin number 2. We explore a coin that many people overlook, yet dedicated collectors know it deserves serious attention. The United States of America Jefferson nickel from 1975 with the D mint mark, a humble 5-cent coin that quietly carries stories of minting challenges, hidden varieties, and collector excitement. At first glance it may seem ordinary, but as you listen closely, you will understand why this coin continues to attract sharp eyes and patient hunters. The year 1975 sits in an interesting period of American coinage. Inflation was rising, production numbers were high, and the Denver Mint worked relentlessly to meet demand. Speed was more important than perfection, and when coins are produced in massive quantities under pressure, small mistakes happen. Those mistakes are exactly what collectors look for today. Every 1975 D Jefferson nickel has the potential to be more than pocket change, depending on its details. On the front of the coin, Thomas Jefferson's portrait appears calm and familiar. But collectors study this side intensely. The date and the lettering are examined under magnification, searching for signs of doubling. Some examples show subtle doubled die characteristics, especially in the date and in the word Liberty. These are not dramatic errors that jump out instantly, but quiet varieties that reward careful observation. Finding one feels like uncovering a secret message left behind by the mint. The reverse side featuring Monticello is where the 1975 D nickel becomes especially interesting. The steps leading up to Monticello are the key. During this era, worn dies often produced weak strikes, causing the steps to blend together. Coins with clearly separated, sharp steps are known as full-step nickels, and they are extremely scarce for this year in mint. Collectors prize these examples because they represent the finest strikes from a time when quality was often sacrificed for speed. Mint errors also play a major role in the value story of this coin. Off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, broad strikes that spread beyond the normal rim, and clipped planchets where a piece of metal is missing can all be found on 1975 D nickels. Die cracks and die chips sometimes appear as raised lines or blobs of metal, adding unique character to each piece. There are even rare cases of wrong planchet errors, where the coin was struck on metal intended for a different denomination, creating dramatic weight and color differences. Condition transforms everything. Most 1975 D Jefferson nickels entered circulation immediately and were heavily used. That makes high-grade uncirculated examples far more desirable than many people realize. Coins with original mint luster, clean fields, and sharp details are increasingly difficult to find decades later. Professional grading can elevate such coins, turning an overlooked nickel into a centerpiece of a modern collection. What makes this coin exciting for collectors and viewers alike is accessibility. This is not a coin locked away only in museums. It can still be discovered in old collections, bankrolls, and inherited change jars. That possibility keeps collectors searching, because every coin carries hope. Each examination becomes an adventure, each detail a clue. As promised, let us talk about real value at the end. In today's market, a typical circulated 1975 D Jefferson nickel is usually worth only face value. Uncirculated examples often sell for a small premium, commonly valued in the range of a few dollars. High-grade certified examples with strong eye appeal can reach values in the tens of dollars. Full-step specimens from the Denver Mint have achieved auction prices from several dozen dollars to well over $100. Significant mint error examples and rare double die varieties have sold at auction for values ranging from tens of dollars to several $100s, with exceptional pieces sometimes reaching into the low thousands, all depending on condition, rarity, and collector demand. Coin number 3. We take a deep and careful look at a coin that many people have spent without a second thought, yet collectors know it holds surprising stories and hidden potential. The United States of America Jefferson nickel from 1974, the 5-cent coin that reflects an era of heavy minting, economic pressure, and fascinating minting imperfections. This coin may look ordinary, but within its metal lives a world that every coin lover should listen to very carefully. 1974 was a busy year for the United States Mint. Millions upon millions of Jefferson nickels were produced to meet the needs of everyday commerce. When production runs are this large, quality control often struggles to keep up. Dies wear down quickly, machines run at high speed, and tiny mistakes slip through. These small mistakes are what transform an everyday nickel into a collectible treasure decades later. On the front of the coin, Thomas Jefferson's portrait appears familiar, yet collectors never glance at it casually. The date, the word Liberty, and the motto are examined closely. Some 1974 Jefferson nickels display double die characteristics, especially around the numbers of the date and parts of the lettering. This doubling was caused during the die creation process and can only be seen clearly with magnification. These varieties are subtle, but rarity often hides in subtlety, making them exciting discoveries for patient collectors. Turning to the reverse, Monticello tells an even deeper story. The steps leading up to the building are extremely important. During the 1970s, worn dies often resulted in weak strikes, meaning the steps appeared flat or blended together. A 1974 nickel with strong, fully separated steps is much harder to find than most people realize. These full step examples stand out sharply and are highly respected among Jefferson nickel specialists. Mint errors add another layer of excitement. Off-center strikes where the design is shifted, broad strikes that spread beyond the rim, and clipped planchets where a section of metal is missing can all be found among 1974 nickels. Die cracks sometimes run across the surface, creating raised lines that look like lightning frozen in metal. Die chips may appear as unusual raised blobs, especially around Monticello or near the lettering. Each error makes the coin unique, turning a mass-produced item into a one-of-a-kind artifact. Condition plays a powerful role in value. Most 1974 Jefferson nickels entered circulation immediately and were used heavily for decades. As a result, coins that remain in uncirculated condition with original luster and minimal marks are far scarcer than their mintage numbers suggest. When such coins are professionally graded and receive high scores, their desirability increases dramatically. Collectors compete for quality because quality survives time. What makes this coin especially appealing is that it is still within reach. It can be found in old coin albums, estate collections, forgotten rolls, and even pocket change. That sense of possibility keeps collectors searching and viewers engaged. Every coin becomes a mystery waiting to be solved, every detail a clue from the past. Now we come to the moment everyone waits for, the value. In real market conditions today, a circulated 1974 Jefferson nickel is generally worth face value. Uncirculated examples often sell for a few dollars depending on eye appeal. High-grade certified examples can reach values in the tens of dollars. Full-step examples from 1974 have achieved auction prices ranging from several dozen dollars to over $100. Notable mint-error coins and strong double die varieties have sold at auction for values from tens of dollars into several $100s, and exceptional error pieces in top condition have reached values approaching the low thousands, all depending on rarity, condition, and collector demand. Coin number 4. We journey into a quietly powerful piece of American coin history that many people have held without ever realizing its story. The United States of America Jefferson nickel from 1971 with the D mint mark, a 5-cent coin born during a time of rapid change, heavy production, and hidden imperfections that now fascinate collectors around the world. This coin may seem simple, but its true character reveals itself only to those who take the time to listen, observe, and understand. 1971 was a demanding year for the Denver Mint. The nation needed massive quantities of coins for everyday commerce, and speed often took priority over precision. When machines run nonstop and dies are used beyond their ideal lifespan, small irregularities appear. These irregularities are not flaws to collectors, they are fingerprints of history. Every 1971 D Jefferson nickel tells a slightly different story, shaped by pressure, metal flow, and human decision. The front of the coin presents Thomas Jefferson, a familiar face yet one full of detail. Collectors carefully study Jefferson's eye, jawline, and the lettering around him. On some 1971 D nickels, subtle doubled die features can be seen in the date or in the word Liberty. This doubling occurred during the die creation process and cannot be recreated later, making these varieties especially intriguing. They are not loud or obvious, but quiet rarities that reward patience and sharp vision. Turning the coin over reveals Monticello, Jefferson's historic home. This side is where serious Jefferson nickel collectors focus their attention. The steps leading up to Monticello are critically important. During the early 1970s, weak strikes were common due to worn dies. As a result, nickels with crisp, fully separated steps are scarce. A 1971 D nickel with strong steps stands out immediately and represents one of the finest examples of its year. These coins are highly sought after because they capture what the mint rarely achieves during that busy period. Mint errors elevate the excitement even further. Off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, broad strikes that expand beyond the normal rim, and clipped planchets where metal is absent create dramatic visual appeal. Die cracks often appear as raised lines running across the coin, while die chips may form unusual raised shapes near Monticello or the lettering. Occasionally, wrong planchet errors occur, producing coins with unusual weight or color. Each error turns a common coin into a unique artifact, impossible to duplicate. Condition changes everything. The vast majority of 1971 D. Jefferson nickels entered circulation immediately and were heavily used for decades. Finding one today with full original luster, clean surfaces, and sharp detail is far more difficult than mintage numbers suggest. Coins preserved in uncirculated condition are increasingly desirable, and professional grading adds trust and recognition to their quality. Collectors know that time is unforgiving, and surviving beauty is rare. What makes this coin especially exciting is that discovery is still possible. These nickels are not locked away forever. They appear in old collections, inherited jars, forgotten bankrolls, and sometimes even modern change. That sense of possibility keeps collectors searching and viewers watching. Every coin examined brings hope, every detail sparks curiosity, and every story connects us to the past. Now we reach the part everyone listens for, the value. In today's real market, a circulated 1971 D. Jefferson nickel is generally worth face value. Uncirculated examples commonly sell for a few dollars depending on eye appeal. High-grade certified examples can reach values in the tens of dollars. Full-step examples from this year in mint have achieved auction prices ranging from several dozen dollars to well over $100. Notable mint error coins and strong double die varieties have sold at auction for values from tens of dollars into several $100s, and exceptional error examples in top condition have reached values in the low thousands, depending entirely on rarity, condition, and collector demand. Coin number 5. We are stepping into a surprisingly modern chapter of American coin history, a coin many people still remember spending, yet few truly understand. The United States of America Jefferson nickel from 1987 with the D mint mark is a 5-cent coin that quietly challenges the idea that only very old coins can be rare or valuable. This is a story every coin lover should listen to very carefully, because rarity does not always come from age, sometimes it comes from circumstance. 1987 was an unusual year for United States coinage. During this time, the mint faced changing demand patterns, and collectors were beginning to save more coins directly from circulation. Unlike many earlier years, some denominations from this period were produced in lower numbers than expected. While Jefferson nickels were still widely used, certain mint and year combinations became surprisingly difficult to find in top condition as time passed. The Denver Mint produced the 1987 D. Jefferson nickel during a period when efficiency was prioritized. Coins were struck rapidly, and dies were often used until they showed clear signs of wear. This environment created a wide range of strike qualities. Some coins came out weak and flat, while others received strong, well-centered strikes that stand out today. Collectors understand that finding the best examples from this year is far more challenging than most people imagine. On the obverse, Thomas Jefferson's portrait reveals subtle details that collectors examine closely. The eye, the cheek, and the hairlines are checked for sharpness. The word Liberty and the date are studied for signs of doubling. While major double die varieties are rare for this year, minor doubling and mechanical doubling can sometimes be found, adding interest and collectability. Even slight anomalies become important when dealing with a coin that already has condition rarity. The reverse side featuring Monticello is where the 1987 D nickel truly earns collector respect. The steps leading up to Monticello are once again the key. Full-step Jefferson nickels from the late 1980s are far scarcer than many people expect. Weak strikes were common, and bag marks often damaged freshly minted coins before they ever left the mint. A 1987 D nickel with clean surfaces and clearly separated steps is a standout piece that instantly attracts attention. Mint errors from this year add another layer of excitement.
Off-center strikes, though uncommon, do exist and create dramatic visual appeal. Broad strikes with expanded rims show how metal can flow unpredictably during striking. Die cracks appear as raised lines across the surface, while die chips can form unusual raised blobs near Monticello or the lettering. Clipped planchets, where a piece of metal is missing, are especially eye-catching and highly collectible. Each error tells a story of a moment when the minting process went slightly off script. Condition is everything for this coin. Most 1987 D. Jefferson nickels circulated heavily during the late 20th century. As a result, examples with original mint luster, minimal contact marks, and strong detail are far scarcer today than mintage figures suggest. High-grade coins preserved in rolls or collections have become increasingly desirable. When such coins are professionally graded, they gain recognition and trust in the collector market. What makes this coin especially exciting for viewers is the realistic possibility of discovery. This is not an ancient relic locked away forever. It can still appear in old collections, forgotten rolls, or estate holdings. That sense of closeness keeps collectors engaged. The idea that a valuable coin might already be nearby makes every search feel meaningful and every examination rewarding. Now we arrive at the value, spoken only at the end as promised. In real market conditions today, a circulated 1987 D. Jefferson nickel is generally worth face value. Uncirculated examples commonly sell for a few dollars. High-grade certified examples with strong eye appeal can reach values in the tens of dollars. Full-step examples have achieved auction prices ranging from several dozen dollars to over $100. Notable mint error examples such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and dramatic die errors have sold at auction for values ranging from tens of dollars into several $100s, and exceptional high-grade error pieces have reached values approaching the low thousands, depending entirely on rarity, condition, and collector demand. Coin number 6. We are exploring a modern American coin that surprised collectors and changed the way people look at Jefferson nickels forever. The United States of America Jefferson nickel from the year 2004 with the P Mint mark is not just a 5-cent coin, it is a symbol of transition, history, and hidden rarity. Many people spent these coins without thinking twice, yet collectors today know that this year holds special importance and exciting possibilities. The year 2004 marked the beginning of the Westward Journey series, created to honor the Louisiana Purchase and the famous expedition of Lewis and Clark. For the first time in decades, the familiar Jefferson portrait began to change, and the reverse design moved away from the traditional Monticello. This alone makes 2004 Jefferson nickels historically important, but rarity and value come from much more than just design changes. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these nickels, yet high-speed production always leaves room for imperfection. Collectors carefully examine every detail, knowing that modern coins can still carry valuable mistakes. On the obverse, Jefferson appears in a refreshed style. Sharpness matters here. Collectors look closely at Jefferson's eye, hair, and cheek, as well as the lettering around the portrait. Minor doubling in the date or letters can sometimes be found, and while subtle, these varieties are highly desirable to specialists who understand them. The reverse design from 2004 is where excitement truly builds. Instead of Monticello, the coin features symbolic imagery connected to American exploration. Strong strikes with clear detail are harder to find than most people expect. Many coins show weakness due to worn dies or improper metal flow. Coins with bold details, clean fields, and excellent luster stand out immediately and are far scarcer than circulated examples. Mint errors from this year make the story even more exciting. Off-center strikes where the design is shifted, broad strikes with expanded rims, and clipped planchets missing a section of metal can all be found among 2004 P. Jefferson nickels. Die cracks sometimes appear as raised lines cutting across the design, while die chips can create unusual raised shapes that look like extra metal. These errors turn an everyday nickel into a one-of-a-kind collectible with a story frozen in time. Condition is the true key to rarity for this coin. Because 2004 nickels were modern, many were used heavily right away. Coins that survived in uncirculated condition with original mint luster and minimal marks are more difficult to locate today than many collectors realize.
High-grade examples preserved in rolls or collections are highly desirable, especially when certified by professional grading services. Quality separates the common from the exceptional. What makes this coin especially interesting for viewers is how close it feels. This is not a distant piece of ancient history. It is a coin that may still be sitting in a drawer, a jar, or an old collection. That sense of possibility keeps collectors searching and watching closely. Every coin examined becomes a moment of anticipation, every detail a chance at discovery, and now we come to the value, spoken only at the end as promised. In real market conditions today, a circulated 2004 Jefferson nickel is generally worth face value. Uncirculated examples often sell for a few dollars depending on eye appeal. High-grade certified examples can reach values in the tens of dollars. Strong error coins such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and dramatic die errors have sold at auction for values ranging from several tens of dollars to several hundreds of dollars. Exceptional high-grade error examples and rare varieties have reached auction prices approaching the low thousands, depending entirely on condition, rarity, and collector demand. Coin number 7. We uncover a coin that proves rarity does not always come from great age, but from hidden details, condition, and the story behind its creation. The United States of America Jefferson nickel from 1985 with the D mint mark is a 5-cent coin many people remember spending, yet few truly examined. For collectors, this coin represents a quiet challenge, a test of patience, and a reminder that treasures often hide in plain sight. The mid-1980s were a time of steady but demanding coin production in the United States. The Denver Mint was striking coins at a rapid pace to satisfy daily circulation needs. When speed becomes essential, perfection often takes a back seat. Dies were pushed hard, metal flow was not always ideal, and quality varied widely from coin to coin. This environment created the perfect conditions for collectible varieties and errors to appear. Looking closely at the front of the 1985 D Jefferson nickel, Thomas Jefferson's portrait offers many clues. Collectors carefully study the sharpness of Jefferson's eye, hair, and cheek. The date and the word Liberty are examined under magnification for signs of doubling. While dramatic doubled dies are rare, minor doubled die characteristics and mechanical doubling can still be found, especially around the lettering. These subtle differences separate ordinary coins from pieces that demand attention. Turning the coin over reveals Monticello, a familiar image yet full of opportunity for collectors. The steps leading up to the building are one of the most important features. During this era, weak strikes were common due to worn dies. As a result, most 1985 D nickels show flat or blended steps. Finding a coin with strong, clearly separated steps is far more difficult than most people expect. These full-step examples are considered premium pieces and are actively sought by serious Jefferson nickel collectors. Mint errors add another exciting layer to this coin story. Off-center strikes create dramatic designs where part of the coin appears missing. Broad strikes show metal spreading beyond the normal rim, giving the coin an unusual shape. Clipped planchets, where a section of metal is missing, catch the eye immediately. Die cracks appear as raised lines across the surface, while die chips can form small raised blobs near Monticello or the lettering. Each error represents a moment when the minting process went slightly wrong, freezing that mistake in metal forever. Condition plays a massive role in determining rarity and desirability. Most 1985 D Jefferson nickels entered circulation immediately and were used heavily. Bag marks, scratches, and dull surfaces are common. Coins that escaped this fate and retained original mint luster, clean fields, and strong detail are much scarcer than mintage numbers suggest. High-grade uncirculated examples stand out instantly, and professional grading adds credibility and demand among collectors. What makes this coin especially exciting for viewers and collectors is the realistic possibility of discovery. These nickels are not locked away in museums. They can still be found in old rolls, inherited collections, forgotten jars, and sometimes even everyday change. That possibility keeps collectors searching and listening closely, because every coin examined carries a sense of hope and anticipation. The appeal of the 1985 D Jefferson nickel lies in its balance of accessibility and challenge. It invites beginners to start searching while rewarding advanced collectors who understand strike quality, errors, and condition rarity. It is a coin that teaches patience and sharp observation, turning a simple 5-cent piece into a fascinating pursuit. Now, as promised, we end with value. In today's real market, a circulated 1985D Jefferson nickel is generally worth face value. Uncirculated examples commonly sell for a few dollars depending on eye appeal. High-grade certified examples can reach values in the tens of dollars. Full-step examples have achieved auction prices ranging from several dozen dollars to over $100. Notable mint error coins such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and strong die errors have sold at auction for values ranging from tens of dollars into several $100s, while exceptional high-grade error examples have reached values approaching the low thousands, depending entirely on rarity, condition, and collector demand.